Just ahead of 6:15 on your Monday morning. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 43 Morning News. Well, from living shelter to becoming an advocate for the homeless. And this week's On the Bright Side, we share a York woman's transformation as she continues to help others in the community.
Right now, York has a housing crisis. It's hard to see it and not think about all the things that could have possibly led them there, right? Do they have mental health issues? Were they a veteran? Did they get kicked out? Did they go through a divorce? Did they lose their job? So many different things cross my mind as to how they got there.
When Sharee McFadden sees people out on the streets in York City, she's immediately reminded of what her parents went through.
And I remember when it was just so cold outside or in the winter, and I'm like wondering, where's my dad? Where's he sleeping at tonight?
Sharee moved from shelter to shelter the first decade of her life, while her parents were on and off the streets.
We fell victim to the crack epidemic. My mom had a bad drug addiction in the 90s, and my dad also had alcohol, was an alcoholic. So that created a lot of instability within our home.
For Sharee, that meant a lot of starting over.
There were times she would pull it together and then things would fall apart. She would pull it together and things would fall apart. But I knew my mom loved us and cared about us enough that she always tried to get back to being better for us.
While her mother bettered her life, Sharee and her siblings moved from Philadelphia to South Carolina to stay with family there. Eventually, they found their way back to Pennsylvania and reunited with their mom in York County. They stayed at multiple shelters across the area during that time before finding a home.
And then we moved to our very first house in the city of York at 536 West Philadelphia Street. And that's kind of where our story started here.
Sharee says her mother worked 3 jobs just to make it happen.
And my mom just always had a way, I don't want to get emotional because I miss my mom, of making a house a home no matter where we were, what we had, what we didn't have. I didn't know we were like poor.
Sharee has lived in York ever since, where she's worked to prioritize affordable housing for all. She also volunteers and donates to the shelters where she used to stay.
I know for a fact some of us are a paycheck away from having to be here. It is not just handouts. It's not just people who are lazy, who don't want to work or don't want to do the work to find housing or get their lives better, or as a lot of people say, pull themselves up by their bootstraps, because some people don't have boots.
And she's made it her mission to give those struggling the tools they need to move forward.
There are so many different resources we have. It's how do we connect to the people who need them, and then how do we get the people who need them to want to take advantage of them and not to be ashamed or too scared or feel like you're too damaged, too far gone to be able to start over.
Sharee says her mother's determination is proof that it is possible.
A desire that you want to be out of that place and a belief that you can be out of that place and that you deserve better.
Sharee says a great way to help is by donating to our local shelters, whether that be your time, clothing, or household items. She says it all adds up to make a life-changing difference. And as always, if you have good news or something positive happening in your life, I'd like to share it. Email me at gmediak@fox43.com. On the bright side, I'm Gabrielle Mediak.